Infernal blessings. We are back with another video. All right, before I begin, a couple quick announcements. The 8th annual Journey of the Black Adept Conference that will take place October 30th to November 2nd. The meet and greet and opening ritual on Thursday, October 30th, will begin around 7:30, 8 p.m. in the evening. And again, I keep putting that out there for those that got to travel, book flights, and make travel arrangements. If you're going to be here so you can get there by that time, okay? For those that did sign up for the conference, those that paid, you got our email. You'll get an itinerary about a week or two before the conference. For the last several years, we had created a nice digital itinerary with the whole schedule, broken down each day, day by day, the events. So you'll get all that information once we have the lineup and everything in order, which is usually about a week or 2 weeks prior to the conference. And then on Friday and Saturday, from 9 to 4 p.m., classes, workshops, and presentations. All right. Excuse me. The classes, workshops, and presentations are 9 to 4 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. And then on Friday and Saturday evening, we come back later in the evening, around 7:30, 8 o'clock. We do a group ritual, and then followed by a social group dinner, and we kind of just hang out, chill on Friday and Saturday night, get some food, just kind of kick it. And then we close out the conference on Sunday from noon to 4 p.m. with a question and answer session with yours truly. You can attend the conference either virtually or live and in person. If you want information on either, shoot me an email at khnum19@gmail.com. and I will send you that information. If you're interested in a spiritual reading or a consultation, I offer various different types of readings: telepathic demonic readings, Septima Muerte readings, Egyptian oracle readings, shadow work readings, which is always a great reading to do to see what's going on with the shadow, the hidden self. When you need a sense of direction or purpose. A lot of people always like, what type of ritual work should I be doing? We should always be focusing on the important needs you need to fix about yourself first and foremost before you start working on the wants. A shadow work reading is a good tool to do that. So that will be an area of interest to look into. Also, if you maybe you're interested in a deity reading to see what gods, goddesses, demons, and spirits walk with you, or maybe you're just interested in the spiritual consultation, which people just use that to have a whole session. Just pick my brain with a bunch of questions on the occult and the left-hand path. Maybe you want to focus on a specific area of interest, but again, a consultation is not a reading. Just want to be clear on that. It's just what the word means, consultation. Okay. Also, if you want to sign up for classes, go to the Primordial Chaos Patreon page at patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. That's patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, tier 3. That's the tier you want to join. That's going to give you access to the 3 private classes I do every month on Patreon, in addition to the group ritual. Okay. Also, keep in mind when you join the Patreon page, you don't just get access from the day you join moving forward. You also get access to everything in the archives, which is going almost 6 years back. The amount of content, classes, and resources on there is going to keep you busy for years. You probably won't even be able to get to it in this lifetime, and that's not even exaggerated. Also, I say this with confidence, not arrogance. What I am offering for the price I am offering, you will not find the quality and the amount of content and for the price I'm offering. So you're not going to find it, okay? So if you're interested in signing up for classes, go to the page, patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, tier 3. Look at the collection section too when you go to the page. That's going to show you all the classes that are ongoing right now with constant content and new classes being added on a regular basis. All right. Also, don't forget to check out the social media pages. Primordial Chaos 9 on Instagram, Primordial Chaos 2 words on Facebook, Primordial Chaos.com 3 on TikTok. Those are the best platforms to stay abreast of classes, events, and the latest happenings of what I got going on here at Primordial Chaos. So go to those platforms and subscribe to those platforms, support them, and that's the best way to stay abreast of what I do here at Primordial Chaos. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, please. The more likes you hit, the more likes the videos get. It puts that algorithm out there to get these videos out. Also, subscribe to the channel. When you subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell in the pull-down menu. Make sure you hit all notifications so you are notified when I go live or I post a new video. All right? And last but not least, don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos podcast, available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. The direct link to my podcast, the direct link to my email address, to the social media pages, and the Patreon page to sign up for classes. All those links are in the description box of the video that you're watching right now. All right, so you see the title. I wanted to just do a quick video on, we did a ritual this past Friday evening, which was the other night as the day of the recording of this video, which that was on, I believe, the 23rd. Today is the 25th of August, 2025. We did the Luciferian rite of self-mastery. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit the concept of what that was about and focus on, that whole aspect of what Lucifer represents, right? When we work with it as an archetype. Now, as I said, when you're looking at gods and goddesses, demons and spirits, when you have a personal manifestation of them, when they take on shape and form, that is very personal. It is very subjective. You are manifesting that incarnation of that deity or God based on, what you have stored in your psyche, in your subconscious mind, etc. But when we look at what Lucifer represents is what I want to kind of focus on in this video and kind of tie it into the ritual we did the other night on Friday. So the illuminating light of Lucifer, right? So when you look at different aspects of Lucifer, obviously when you look at Lucifer from the religious context, from a Judaic, Christian, or Islamic context, of course you're going to come up with a negative connotation. You're looking at the story through the lenses and the eyes of the biblical authors, right? Because there's an agenda there when you understand the history of the Bible, when you understand, especially the modern day translations, when you understand how certain fractions, organizations, groups, and people of power got together and used religion as a tool and a stronghold to control the masses through fear, right? When you look at through the eyes or the lenses of, say, the Yazidi people and the Al-Jib with the Black Book that you hear me mention a lot, and you see the story of another manifestation of the adversary or Lucifer in the form of the peacock angel, Iblis or Shaitan, as he's also mentioned in the Quran, and he always referred to that story of how Iblis, aka Lucifer, refused to make obeisance or bow down to the creation of the Adamites, or who they tried to singular as one person, Adam. And as we know in the story, whether you're reading it in the Quran or you're reading it in the book of Revelations in the 12th chapter, Lucifer refuses to bow down, right? And this was the so-called cause for the war that took place in heavens. And as it says in Revelations 12, Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and his angels. And the name Michael, as I've told you guys before, translates to Mikael, who dares to be like God, or El. Okay? So then this war takes place, this battle, this fight, right? Now, some people have brought up, when we look at the Mikael and Lucifer, we're looking at the aspect of our higher self and our lower self, right? Or is that the same story when we're looking at Set and Usir or Osiris, Set and Heru, Cain, Abel, Enki, and Leo? You're seeing that, yes, the two warring brothers, right? Now, you got to look at this outside of the lens of religion, because if you look at it through the lens of religion, you're going to have your religious good and evil story. I'm going to more look at it through the lens and the eyes through the Yazidis and the Al-Jib of the Black Book, all right? So when you look at that story where Iblis, or Melik Taus, one of his other names, refuses to bow down or make obeisance, and people look at that, oh, he was rebellious. He disobeyed God, so he was punished and cast out. Then you have to understand the science of this realms and realms beyond this realms, and who was put here according to the Al-Jawad Black Book as a Khalifa or a successor. This is why you hear the term Lucifer is the ruler of this world. People make that statement in reference to like it's a insult. No, he was put here by who you think is the most high God to be ruler and the one responsible to be the Khalifa or successor to the God of creation, according to the Al-Jawad Black Book, that created this realm or this planet, right? So the confusion comes in. You think this monotheistic biblical God is so righteous, the one that people are being tricked to worship and call upon, which is basically the Canaanite deity Baal or El, is really who the biblical God is. And the battle that's taking place in the Bible is between the serpent or Lucifer and this Canaanite deity Baal. So Christians, Muslims, and Jews are so confused as to who the God they think they're worshiping is, as opposed to who this God actually is. It's two different things. So you're getting a whole different story. In Al-Jawad, the Black Book, this was a test to see if Iblis or Lucifer would pass the test. So he did not make obeisance to something that was inferior to him. And this is why we always hear the term, we do not bow down or worship nothing or nobody. A God or a deity does not do that. So you must read the story from both sides of the spectrum before just seeing it one side and taking one aspect of it. So if you look at it through Judaic, Christian, and Islamic eyes or monotheistic eyes, you're not going to understand it. Now, when we look at the name Lucifer, okay, which the name Lucifer, the bearer of light, when you look at how the modern translation of that name breaks down, the light bearer. Now, you also hear religious folks also make statements like, at once Lucifer was a beautiful angel of light and blah, 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 and this and that. We have to look more deeper into why the light bearer. And as I've said many times before, you have to pause and ask yourself a question. What is the light that Lucifer bears? What is the illumination or the Illuminati that's affiliated with Luciferian philosophy and spirituality? No, it's not the shit that you see on the internet. No, it's not the group that was formed by Adam Weishaupt in 1776. And this is why people connect the Illuminati with Masonry and Luciferian or satanic worship, because they're being programmed with all of that conspiracy theories. Is there or was there or are there a powerful group of people who form a group called the Illuminati and hide behind the occult and hide behind Luciferian spirituality and Masonry? Yes, there is. I'm not denying that. But is all category of the Illuminati and the light of Lucifer and Luciferian spirituality all in that category? Absolutely not. That's just like saying everybody that's a Muslim is a terrorist. That's just like saying everybody that's a Christian is a bad person. And that's not true. Even when you hear me talk about these religions, it's not that I'm attacking the people that are in these religions. That's not what I'm doing. I am going to attack the misinformation. And as I've said many times before, I have many people that I affiliate with, and I know many people that are good practicing Muslims, Christians, and Jews. And I respect that. I don't have to agree with it, but I respect it to the fullest because the way they conduct themselves by their example, and they're not trying to go around and force their methodologies and their ways of thinking on everybody. So it only applies to what it applies to. Just like everybody in the occult and the left-hand path, the Luciferian spirituality, etc., not everybody is all wise, right, and exact. You got some nutbags in the occult and the left-hand path, just like you do in any other spiritual system. I laugh sometimes because people who come on the path and are kind of newbies in that first year or two, they say, man, there's some crazy-ass people on this path, just like there was in Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. And I say, and? Well, you thought you was going to come on this path and, you know, everything was, it's in every facet of life. It doesn't matter if it's a spiritual thing, if it's on the job, if it's there's always something or somebody that's always going to pose that bullshit that you're going to have to deal with. So I want to be clear when I say that, okay? But those that truly understand and they look at spirituality, the occult, left-hand path, They look at deity and spirit, not being influenced by any monotheistic religion. Understand these are the polarities of the same thing. When we talk about we're working with energy, right? Good and bad, right and wrong, negative and positive. Those are just polarities or vibrational degrees of the same thing. That's what the 7 Hermetic principles of Tahuti was trying to teach. The doctrine of polarity, the doctrine of vibration and rhythm. All is mental, mental is all. The universe is mental. It always starts there in the deep recesses of the subconscious mind. And then when you dig deep into your subjective consciousness is where you uncover these truths. Right? And a Luciferian goes deep into their subconscious mind. They go into the deep annals of the void and the abyss, which resides in their subconscious mind. That's what Klipothic work is about for those that practice the Klipot. Right? You're going into aspects of yourself that you're not going to really explore in any other spiritual system because they're not going to teach you to explore that. It's always some form of worship or worship, as I like to say. Because when I say worship because you're always at war with yourself. They create this internal battle or war of confusion because you're consistently looking for a deity or a God that first and foremost you're programmed and taught that exists or resides somewhere far outside of yourself. Way out there in the reset, way out there in the far away in deep outer space in the sky, billions and eons of light years away. So the trick starts from the very moment you emerge from the womb of your mother, and from the point that somebody introduced the concept of God and religion to you, they start the journey right out the gate where you're looking as far away from yourself you possibly can. And most people spend their entire life searching for a God that doesn't exist, because the God they were always looking for resided within themselves. All they had to do was look in the mirror in order to find God. So a Luciferian understands the concept that Lucifer, or the illuminating light of Lucifer, is the harmonization of dark light or black light and what we call intellect. So what is dark light and black light? Say, Benita, what the hell are you talking about? You making shit up? What are you talking about? I would encourage you again to go get a book that I've mentioned many times over here, Dark Light Consciousness by Edward Bruce Bynum. When he talks about neuromelanin and neuromelanin, and he talks about the neuromelanin that encodes every aspect of your organs, your kidneys, your lungs, your heart. It's found on the stem of your brain, and it shows it's the super high that this neuromelanin would be like a super highway of consciousness that transports intellect or awareness or high states of consciousness via the brain. Now, when we look, as I told you guys before, where the cerebellum is, and then there's the hippocampus area of your brain, which is responsible for when you get spiritual experiences, whether that's visualizations, out-of-body experiences, transcendental states of meditation, etc. When you go beyond or transcend, have out-of-body experience, travel to astral realm, go beyond 3-dimension, a person, place, a thing, right? The power of God resides within you. Lucifer activates the dark and the light aspect of your nature. Notice that's why nobody ever addresses the fact that he's the light bearer. He bears light. The light is the knowledge and the intellect. He is the pathway and shows individuals in order to master self, one must go into the dark to do the work of the light. In order to obtain true knowledge and intellect, you must go into the darkness. As I said many times before, the darkness is not a bad thing. It's not an evil thing. I've mentioned many times before, right there in the Bible, their God is engulfed in the void and the deep. His spirit is roaming across the dark, murky waters of the void and the deep in Genesis chapter 1. So darkness could not be a bad thing, even if the biblical or the monotheistic God was encased and engulfed in darkness. You think it is because you've been spookified through religion and movies and other forms of indoctrination that got you so spooked out when you hit the darkness or the dark or Lucifer and evil and all that program of right and wrong, bad and good, and this, that, and the third. All that is part of the program, and that spooks you out from addressing, quote unquote, what people will call the dark side. Right? But you've been programmed to think darkness is bad. This is why your Masonic orders and a lot of your initiatic orders do rituals in the darkness or blindfolded. They go through different degrees, and one has to do the work in the darkness because they're teaching you to think with the pure illuminating light of your intellect, which is, whether you want to call it the brow chakra, the pineal gland, the third eye. Even Jesus said this in the Bible. When the body is full of light, the eye becomes one, right? He's talking about the physical eyes can be deceptive because everything you see isn't true. A lot of it is an illusion. And we've been trained to look at things with the physical eyes, and we think everything we see on the surface, that's reality and truth. Well, when the pineal is opened or the third eye is open and it's illuminated with intellect or light, and this is what Lucifer does. He illuminates the pineal and activates it. The intellect that you receive, it decalcifies the pineal gland or the third eye or the brow chakra so it can open up and receive whole light consciousness, different states of awareness, different aspects of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and power, or understanding and overstanding. But you got to be careful. There's trick in that word, understanding. Understanding, obviously, you're saying you don't fully know. Understanding means you're right in the middle, and overstanding means you're well beyond understanding the very core of what it is you're trying to master. Okay? So you can use those as 3 stages. Is that also linked into the 3 stages of masonry on the Blue House? Because you come in understanding on the entered apprentice degree. The fellowcraft degree gives you an understanding. You take it to the next level, and then when you're so-called raised to a master mason, you have an overstanding beyond the under and the inner standing of the knowledge that you're studying. Just something to think about as far as wordplay. Okay? So focus on that when you're trying to assimilate and study knowledge and put it into its perspective. So Lucifer, quite simply, again, is the manifestation of the harmonization of light and darkness within the neophyte, the master, or the one that's trying to perfect themselves on the path of self-mastery or apotheosis. That is your goal as an occultist or a left-hand path practitioner or a Luciferian. Your goal is to master yourself on all levels. Or what I like to, as what my Patreon page is built on, and the ritual we did on Friday night, the Luciferian rite of self-mastery was focused on mastering ourselves on what I created on the 5 points of the pentagram, mastering yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and oh yes, financially. Stop thinking you're so spiritual and being broke is a badge of honor. I'm so tired of that shit in spiritual paths. Like being broke and poor and suffering is a badge of honor because you're going to get some pie in the sky and a great reward later. I don't want to hear that shit. Save that shit for your mama, as they say. I don't want to hear that. As a Luciferian, a god on the path to self-mastery, or a goddess, let's include the females in that equation, your goal is to live your best life. You want your pie now. My next live is going to be called The Eternal Now. I'm gonna tap on that later. And I'll tell you what it was inspired about. You want yours now, not tomorrow, not later, not after some great cataclysmic event. You want yours right the fuck now. Because that's the only thing that's real. The past is gone. It is evolving out there and expanding in time. The future isn't guaranteed, and the present is now. Okay? See, that's part of the trick too, to teach you to constantly look down the road. Don't worry about now. Oh yeah, shit's not right now. Don't focus on now. But yet, they got you looking sometimes so far ahead that you can't see what's going on around you. So quite simple. We'll wrap this video up. The illuminating light of Lucifer, quite simply, is the balance and harmonization of dark light or black light and what we would call light or consciousness. Call it the yin and the yang, right? Call it what you want. You need both aspects because both the varying vibrational degrees are the same thing. When merged together, just like the divine masculine and feminine energy, it creates what we call the Baphomet, or what Baphomet represents. The divine harmonization of all those spiritual energies. All right? Hopefully this video helped you out. I'm going to wrap it up. It's going to do it for me. If you are on Patreon and you didn't attend the ritual on Friday, hopefully you had a chance to take a look at it and do the ritual when you get a chance. Very important ritual as we wind down, approaching the fall equinox, going into the stasis and darkness of the winter cycle or solstice, which is a great spiritual time for us. And then obviously we have the conference coming up right around the corner, which is always a great time of the year. And it's my favorite time of the year, from the conference to New Year's. That's my season. That's what I'm doing, my thing. I mean, I do it all year round, but summer's hard work, man. It's a lot of energy. So some of y'all going through it with the set workings. It's no joke. We're gonna be all right. All right, that's gonna do it for me. If you need to reach out to me for a spiritual reading, a consultation, if you need a direct link or my contact email, the social media pages, the podcast, the direct link to the Primordial Chaos Patreon page to sign up for classes, all of those links are in the description box of this video you're watching right now. It's going to do it for me. Infernal blessings. And we are out of here.